Alright, what's going on everyone? Back at it again with yet another Dragon deck profile. Ever since the demise and absolute destruction of Tier, Dragon Link has been it's had more opportunities to be a good deck, and in this meta especially, it's just really good. It can play cards like Eradicator, Anti-Spell, Skill Drain. It can just be a really good blowout deck. It puts up really big monsters. It's a really good combo heavy deck. We do dislike Nib and Droll, of course. They do hurt, but they hurt a lot of other decks as well. And Dragon Link is just, I think it's just really fun. It's been relevant for a really long time. So if you're looking for a deck that's able to withstand multiple banned cards, limited cards, etc., erratas, I think Dragon Link is probably going to be your best deck to go with. It's also relatively affordable, with the most expensive stuff being like the Bystials or Baron. But you can build it low rarity. You don't have to play too many of the crazy things in here. But it's a really fun deck. It's really good. It's doing especially good right now. I don't like D-Shifter. D-Shifter is probably my least favorite card when I'm playing Dragon Link. But if I end up doing that, I'll just go into Seals and pass and hope for the best. But I'm a huge advocate for Dragon Link. It's super fun. Just a really good deck overall. I've been playing it recently for the past couple of months in my locals, just testing it out, seeing how it goes, and it's performed really good. Usually the match that I lose the most, I would say, is Cash, just because D-Shifter and the walking macro is not optimal for Dragon Link. The graveyard is very important, but other than that, I think it just requires a good pilot to really take it to the higher level. I may not be him, but I do what I can. And moving on from the very long-winded introduction, let's go ahead and get into this deck profile. Starting everything off, of course, with the normal summons. You got 3 Seifert. So with Seifert, it's a really good card. You tribute itself for cost, and then you search a dragon equal to the level. You search a dragon equal to the level of the dragons discarded for it. So you don't have to tribute itself necessarily. You can tribute from field or hand, and then you would search. So you just really have to hope that your opponent doesn't Veiler or Impermanent on summon. But you can search stuff like the baby dragons to start going into plays, any of the Bystials. You can pretty much search any dragon in your deck. It's just a really good starter, and it's also a light, so you can banish it with the Bystials or the Bystials. What else was gonna go? Oh, or Levy, stuff like that. It's just a really good card. And also the secondary effect, you can banish itself from the graveyard, and it adds back a level 8 dragon to your hand, which is really good to add like your Lubellion or your Levianeer. Moving on, you've got the 3 Black Metal Dragon. It's just really good to chain block your Striker Dragon. So you would link off the Black Metal to Striker, you chain link 1 to Striker to search your boot sector, chain link 2 Black Metal to search the Darkness Metal. And that's going to be it for like your main normal summons. Moving on to the Bystial package, you've got 3 Lubellion. Everybody knows what Lubellion does. It's an insane card. You pitch it, and it starts any Bystial. And you contribute any, I don't think it has to be a Bystial, just a level, I believe, let me check, yeah, level 6 or higher dragon, summon itself, and then it can set a branded spell or trap directly from your deck to your field, so you can't ash it. It's really good. You got 3 Magnemite. It searches everything in your deck. It's absolutely insane. Always the best Bystial to go for. 1 Serenir. So Serenir I usually use to dump the Lubellion if I don't already have it, or the Regained. So if I activate the Beast, I can then set the Regained during my end phase. 1 Baldrake. And Baldrake is you banish 1 other light or dark you control to not banish, sorry, tribute 1 other light or dark you control to banish a Ritual, Synchro, Xyz, etc. monster when your opponent summons it. It's really good. And the last Bystial is going to be 1 Druisworm. So basically, whenever Druisworm leaves the field, you can pop 1 special summon monster from the field. And these guys are all really good. The Bystials really make the deck a lot better than it used to be. It's insanely good support. Moving on to the Rocket package, you've got 2 Tracer, 1 Recharger, 1 Synchron, and then the 1 Absorouter. So the trade is going to be your tuner. Instead of the Synchron, you could play the Rocket Caliber. I still like the Synchron, because Synchron can normal summon in, and most of the time you're going to be special summoning the Absrider from the grave, but it does lock you into only summoning Darks. But there's going to be, the standard Rocket package, like I said, unless you want to play the Caliber, which is fine. But, the Absrider, again, it's going to be probably the best pitch for Dragon Ravine, because once sent to the graveyard, you search any Rocket. So, moving on. Again, we've got the baby dragons, the black, the white, and the Levianeer. Again, just really good standard. If I could play them and more, I would. Moving on to a couple hand traps. You got 3 Ash Blossom, and then 2 Effect Veiler. You know what those does. If you don't like them, feel free to switch them out with whatever else you feel is good. Moving on to the spells. For the 2 field spells, you've got 1 Ravine and the 1 Boot Sector Launch. If they ogre your Ravine or just find some way to negate it or destroy it, it's not going to be a good time. Ravine is insanely good just to get your plays going and keep your plays continued, and if at any moment they interrupt it, it seriously does hurt your turn. And the boot is again really good, so you can special summon 2 rockets with different names from your hand, or if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, or there's a difference in the monsters you control, you can special summon from your grave equal to the difference between your opponent's monsters and your monsters. Again, standard field spells, very good stuff. We're done with 3 quick launch. I don't know why this isn't hit. It's not once per turn, and it's insanely good. 3 Chaos Space, insane starter. Chaos Space and Absrider goes absolutely crazy. You discard a light or dark monster from your hand, and then you search one of the opposite type, and then you can banish it from the graveyard, return 1 banish light or dark, and then draw 1. Really good card. 3 Dark Ruler, just a really good board breaker. It absolutely demolishes Kashtira's board, then you can go ahead and break it and hopefully win. I really like Dark Ruler in the main. You could play 3 Book of Eclipse, 3 Book of Lunar Eclipse, whatever else you want, but I really like Dark Ruler. Moving on to the branded stuff, just 1 Regained and then the 1 Beast. Regained is if a light or dark is banished, you shuffle it back into the deck and then you draw 1. And then if your opponent almost special summons a monster, you can target a Bystone in your graveyard and special summon it. And then the Beast is you tribute 1 of your dragons and it pops 1 card your opponent controls, and then in the end phase it can set a branded spell or trap in your grave to your field. Most of the time, all the time, you're going to be setting the branded Regain. And then for the last 3 traps, it's going to be 3 and perms. That's going to be it for the main deck. It clocks out at 45. I've been thinking about moving it down to 40 just for more consistency. But, if you think of any cards that I should take out, any cards that are unnecessary, or any changes that you make to the main deck, feel free to let me know, because, always good to improve. It's always good to improve. Moving on to the extra deck. Gonna be the 1 Striker Dragon. All it does is searches Boot Sector Launch, and that's all you need to do. 1 Pisty. It revives a dragon from banished or grave to a link arrow that 2 monsters point to. 1 Romulus that searches your Ravine, and that's about it. 2 Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, just really good tributes for cost, bounces 1, and then on resolution special summon the dragon from your deck. 1 IP Masquerena, and the last level 2 is going to be 1 Dark, the Dark Charmer, to special summon a dark from your opponent's grave and go into the access code. For level 3's Triple Burst, which is going to be the other arrow for the Pisty. 1 Nightmare Unicorn to spin back a card. 1 access code to go into game. 1 Borland Boss Monster Big Guy. He is a negate. He cannot be targeted, cannot be destroyed by battle. He's just a pretty big guy, and a lot of decks have a hard time getting over him. But I don't really like to go into him over seals too much because Super Poly is a very real card. Also, I don't want to get kaiju'd, or it's just a lot of resources to go into him, so I don't really tend to go into him unless I am going to go for game. It's going to be it for the links. Moving on, you've got your synchros, 1 Bestial Dissipator, 1 Baron, and then the 1 Warlord Savage. So it's going to be 1/8 for the Savage. Savage is just an Omni negate once per turn. Baron is a pop and negate, and Bestial Dissipator, he's a big body and he special summons from the banished pile. And he shuffles, very good guy. And then just the last extra deck monster is going to be 1 Hieratic Dragon King of Atum, 2 level 6s, your Bestials, and he just summons a dragon from your deck. What is there more to say? If you, again, feel anything that is out of place or any changes that you would make to the extra deck, feel free to let me know. And moving on to the very last bit is going to be the side deck. So my side deck, again, as I preface in all my other videos, is just tuned for my locals. So stuff that I play against, typically being like Flu or Cash, and Vanadium right now, Pearly. So, you know, if you have any recommendations or you don't agree, you know, feel free to tune into whatever locals you're playing to. But for back row removal, I've got the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, the 1 Cosmic, and then 2 Lightning Storms. And that's going to be it for the spells. It's very trap heavy. I'm going to be playing 3 anti-spell because Dark Ruler really hurts. 2 Eradicator Epidemic because Dark Ruler really hurts. And Pot of Prosperity should not be at 3, neither should Kashtira Birth. 2 Evenly Matched to break boards. 2 Dimensional Barriers for Branded and sometimes Kashtira if I don't have Erad or Anti-Spell. And finally the 2 Rivalry of the Warlords. So dragons only. So that's going to be it for the deck profile. If you have any recommendations or anything else that you'd like to see, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I am very much still definitely working on getting some live duels in. The hardest part is finding willing participants, but I'm sure it is on the horizon. But that's going to be it for me, everybody. Again, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, share, drop a comment below, and yeah, it's going to be it for me.